Well, good morning. We're actually in a beautiful red low-wing aeroplane called an Alto. So we're on track to Wangaratta, and yeah, this is Cardinia Reservoir, and we're going to head then into the Yarra Valley, and we're heading ultimately up to Parkes in New South Wales. Flying on a beautiful morning. It's very, very smooth, and predicted temperature in Parkes is probably going to be about 25 degrees. This is quite a change from Melbourne's cold winter. We're going into spring. Anyway, I'll introduce our pilot, Peter, and yeah, this is a change from Foxbats. What are you doing? You're trading in a Foxbat for an Alto?
No way. The Foxbat's still going strong along with the Vixen, but the Alto is, well, a relatively new aeroplane for us in Australia. This one we imported in time for the Avalon Air Show back in March, and it's a low-wing aeroplane compared with the Foxbat and the Vixen's high-wing. So it's a little bit different, and we're taking this one up to Parkes for the Australia 2019 AirVenture show there, which goes over Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, what are the key reasons that you looked at the Alto as a new product addition?
Well, we felt that the Foxbat and the Vixen are great aeroplanes. They're high-wing aeroplanes. And there are a few people around who prefer a low-wing aeroplane, and flying schools in particular seem to like them quite well. So we spent a couple of years looking around to find what sort of aircraft were available on the market, and eventually identified this relatively small company in the Czech Republic called Direct Fly, who manufacture this aircraft, the Alto. And it's an all-metal aeroplane, tricycle landing gear, Rotax engine. In many ways similar in terms of performance to the Foxbat and the Vixen. It's not really a short takeoff and landing aeroplane, but it's got such good handling characteristics, and it's been thoroughly tested for stalling, spinning, absolutely everything, which we think makes it ideal as certainly as a tourer, but probably as much as anything, as a training aeroplane.
1019.
Yeah, this aircraft is a bit better than the standard specification. It's got a Dynon D10 artificial horizon, which also gives you height, speed readouts, and a variety of other stuff like a true airspeed and so on. The normal flight instruments like an altimeter and airspeed indicator, vertical speed indicator, and so on. In the middle of the panel here we've got a nice iPad for navigation, which fits very nicely in the middle of the panel there, and over on the right are all the engine instruments, and in this particular aircraft, in addition to the trig radio, there's also a Mode S transponder there.
Yes, this is ideal then for a training operation.
Yes, it is, and I think I like the centre push-pull throttle. The flaps and the fuel controls are all down on the centre console. This aircraft's also fitted with a ballistic parachute system with a big red handle by the passengers there. But yeah, it's a comfortably spec'd aeroplane. We've done about, let me have a look now, 58 hours in this aeroplane, and it's a nice little plane. Yeah, I quite like it. Nice, quiet, smooth aeroplane.
Well, there we are, halfway across the dividing range, looking into the Golden Valley. And we've got a little bit of cloud. We didn't have that to start with. But anyway, that's the way the world is today in this spot.
A lot of headwind up here, and it was a bit bumpy here and there. But on the whole, it's not too bad at all, really. Another hour to Wangaratta, and hopefully we can sit, stretch our legs, get a bit of fuel in the aircraft, and continue on from there. We've got Alexandra bang on the nose here, about 5 miles ahead, and on we go.
So, Mike in the cockpit, and I have to say I'm very grateful to get a ride in the Alto. I've looked at the shiny red beast since I was first introduced to it in Avalon, and yeah, this is my moment. even better, right? It's a free ride. So any flying you do and you're not paying for it, that's great. Mind you, I suppose I've got to go and talk about it when I get there at this flying show. The idea is to introduce it to a few more people, and if that's your want, a low winger in very charming, beautiful red livery, this is an amazing little aeroplane, and certainly does the business with its Rodax engine purring away. And yeah, the controls are very laid back. This one hasn't got autopilot, and I can't see Peter working too hard. And in this sort of terrain, you'd be expecting a fair amount of turbulence, mechanical turbulence. And yeah, I have to say it's handling it very, very smoothly.
Well, the plane flies itself basically, and I think with very light aircraft like this, the temptation is really to over-control the aeroplane so that if it does go through a bit of turbulence, to fight it with the stick. But in reality, you don't really need to do that very much. Just let it find its own way through the turbulence. And as you can see right now, there's just a little bit of very light turbulence, nothing serious. But my hand on the stick is pretty well limited. The stick's not moving very much. You don't need to really do very much. This particular plane, even small movements of the stick will move the plane quite nicely. So it's a bit like a little fighter to control in some respects, in that you kind of think it into a bank and suddenly you're in a bank. And the controls are nicely harmonized as well. The elevator is quite strong in the aircraft, although it's not an all-flying tailplane, it's a standard elevator. And the rudder is probably the heaviest of the lot, which is good because it maintains that lateral stability without you really needing to do much with the rudder pedals. It's a nice plane to fly, it's very easy, there's no autopilot, but it's not exactly a high workload anyway.
Yeah, just an observation over there in the distance. There's some very interesting shaped cloud, almost a little bit lenticular-like, and yeah, that's probably a significant amount of wind and things causing that. But as I turn the camera now facing the nose, pure clear sky. Doesn't pitch the nose up when you put the flaps down, does it?
Not a lot, no.
Got to remember this is really wide, so I can't.
Yeah.
Pointless.
Probably can't even see the runway with it yet.
That's the other part of flying. Avgas. Okay, so pit stop is complete. Cup of tea at Wangaratta Pilot's Car Park, and we're about to take off on 36, hopefully with a little bit less headwinds on this leg, to Tamura. So approximate flying time will be around the 2-hour mark again. And just for those who might be buying an Alto using a Rotax motor, we were airborne a little bit over 2 hours, and we burned 35 litres of fuel, and I thought that was pretty economical.
Considering we were pushing it a bit into the headwind, that's not too bad really. Set one stage of flap, controls full and free. Traffic Wangaratta Alto 1599 is lining up, and we'll be rolling runway 36 for departure to the north tomorrow. Traffic Wangaratta. Okay, Michael.
Go for it.
Just feel it beginning to fly.
Smooth as. And there's the township.
The township of Wangaratta.
Well, as we journey north, we're actually going to cross the Murrumbidgee River, which goes into a place called Wagga Wagga.
We're indicating 100 and we got a true airspeed of 109.
So, really 109, this machine flying along at 110 knots, it's pretty well between a Vixen and a Foxbat.
Yeah, pretty well bang in the middle really. We reckon a Foxbat should be able to cruise if the prop set properly at around about 100. Vixen ditto for about 120 and this is about 110, bang between.
And what does that really all matter in the big picture? It was funny when we arrived at our coffee stop. It would mean that the guy in the Vixen would get there and work out how to get into the clubhouse. The guy in the Alto would be there in time to put the coffee on, and the Foxbat would arrive with the coffee made, ready to go.
Yeah, sounds like to me.
So who's smart?
Yeah.
Well, this is takeoff at Temora with just a little over an hour, maybe an hour and 10, and we'll be at our destination of Parkes. Certainly warmer, and we whip off the ground in no time at all. Virtually the only other plane here is a Vixen, and a very delighted owner as well. So, just quickly, Peter, what was our takeoff speeds? When do you lift up and...
Well, the aeroplane starts going light at around about 40 knots, and depending, like we're fully loaded right now, we're probably just a few kilos under the maximum takeoff weight with full fuel, you and me, and a bit of luggage. So, around about 40 to 50, it was beginning to fly quite nicely. And the main thing with the aeroplane when it's heavy like this is just not to yank it off the ground too soon and make sure that it flies before anything else.
And off we go, already at 2,000 feet. Well, that's 1,000 above the ground.
Yeah, I was going to say 1,000 feet above the ground, so...
nice and gentle.
A reasonable rate of climb. We can probably back off on the power a little bit now. We've climbed up to 1,000 feet. Pull the power back to about 5,000 RPM. Still in the climb.
And we'll cruise on up probably 2,000 feet, do you reckon? 2.5?
Yeah,
Yep.
we'll see. The guy in the Vixen said it was pretty lumpy all the way up above the clouds even. So we'll see how it goes. We've got about an hour to go. It's about 85 nautical miles, so with the headwind and everything, probably about an hour, maybe a bit more.
All right, well, looking forward to the last leg.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, one nice little feature of this Alto I've just discovered is the window vent actually allows me to put the camera through it, so we've got a photo door. How smooth is that? Well, we've arrived at our destination.
Traffic, this is CTOS 0, currently at 3,500, on descent to 2,500, half miles to the south. Can I just get an update on the Alto, your position please?
Alto 1599, we're just coming up on the dead side of 04, about to join crosswind for 04.
Copy that, I haven't got you sighted, but I'll try and slot in behind you, CTOS 0.
Tyabb Parkes, Alto 1599 is crosswind for runway 04, Parkes. Tyabb Parkes, Alto 1599 turns downwind 04, Parkes.
Traffic Parkes, Golf Foxtrot Bravo is final 04, full stop Parkes.
Got him.
Tyabb Parkes, Alto 1599 turns base 04, Parkes.
Parkes traffic, CTOS 0, joining crosswind runway 04, Parkes traffic.
Parkes traffic, this is Euro Fox 5348, some 10 miles to the southwest, inbound at 2,500, ETA 30, Parkes.
Traffic Parkes, Alto 1599, turns final, runway 04, Parkes, full stop.
Parkes traffic, city left 0, turning downwind, runway 04, full stop.
Oh, well done, Mr. Harlow, well done.
Traffic Parkes, Sierra Fox 7909, turning final 04 Parkes.
I thought this plane wasn't short hill.
Once you've landed 04, backtrack 04, take the bitumen taxiway, call ground on 1279 as soon as you've left the active runway.
1279.